On April 7, 1945, over the waters of Tokyo Bay, Lieutenant Saburo Sakai, one of Japan's most experienced fighter pilots, pressed his eyes to the gun sight of his Mitsubishi Zero and confronted a scene that defied every assumption he had ever held about aerial warfare. Far above the Japanese capital, at altitudes exceeding 25,000 feet, single-engine American fighters, sleek, polished, and unlike anything in the Japanese inventory, circled in disciplined formations, escorting an armada of B-29 Superfortresses that cast massive shadows across the city below. The Imperial Japanese Army and Navy had long believed that no single-engine aircraft could traverse the nearly 750-mile distance from Iwo Jima to Tokyo and return, that the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean and the limitations of fuel would render such missions impossible. Yet there they were, 96 P-51 Mustangs, powered by the revolutionary Packard Merlin engine, each equipped with drop tanks allowing ranges that previously had been unthinkable, flying with precision and purpose over the heart of the Japanese Empire, proving that the sanctuary of the homeland had been irreversibly breached. This transformation had begun months earlier with a brutal campaign to capture Iwo Jima, a volcanic island barely 8 square miles in size, strategically located 750 miles south of Tokyo. The battle had lasted 36 days, claiming 6,821 American lives with over 19,000 wounded, while the 21,000 Japanese defenders had fought almost entirely to the death in an inferno of caves, bunkers, and ash-covered terrain. As the Marines painstakingly cleared the island, American engineers simultaneously expanded airfields amidst the ongoing combat, paving the way for the arrival of the P-51s in early March, even as Japanese soldiers continued to emerge from hiding to mount last-ditch attacks, forcing fighter crews to dig foxholes in black volcanic sand, enduring the acrid stench of sulfur from Mount Suribachi and establishing forward operations in a war zone still alive with gunfire and explosions. The pilots selected for these missions were young and largely inexperienced in the P-51, many with fewer than 10 hours in the type, yet they were entrusted with flying what would become the longest-range fighter missions in history. 8-hour round trips across the Pacific, navigating over empty ocean without alternate landing fields, without carrier support, and with no guarantee of rescue should disaster strike. Every detail of the operation had been meticulously calculated. The P-51's internal fuel of 184 gallons, supplemented by 85 gallons in a fuselage tank and up to 220 gallons in 2 drop tanks, allowed a combat radius approaching 850 miles, with drop tanks designed to be jettisoned in seconds before combat to restore the Mustang's full agility and speed, transforming it from a heavily laden fuel tanker into a lethal, high-performance fighter capable of dictating the terms of engagement. Pilots were trained relentlessly, mastering formation discipline, fuel management, over-water navigation, and combat tactics designed to exploit the Mustang's speed and firepower while minimizing exposure to Japanese maneuverability advantages. By early April, 3 fighter groups, the 15th, 21st, and 56th, were operational on Iwo Jima, providing over 100 P-51s capable of supporting major missions against the Japanese home islands. On the morning of April 7th, engines roared to life at 7:45, and within 15 minutes, 96 Mustangs were airborne, ascending into the clear sky and forming a precision armada of flights, squadrons, and groups, heading north-northwest over a featureless ocean for 3 hours of meticulous, nerve-wracking flight, every gauge and instrument monitored obsessively, every throttle adjustment critical to survival. As the Japanese coastline came into view, the pilot's landmark, Mount Fuji, loomed majestically on the horizon, and the Mustangs rendezvoused with the B-29 Superfortresses of the 73rd Bomb Wing, forming a protective shield around the largest and most destructive aircraft in the American arsenal, capable of carrying 20,000 pounds of bombs over a 100-mile swath of the city below. Dropping their external fuel tanks, the Mustangs regained their full maneuverability, accelerating to 437 miles per hour, with pilots ready to exploit every advantage of speed, firepower, and altitude against the unprepared defenders. Lieutenant Sakai, flying his Zero with the confidence of a man with over 60 confirmed victories, had no expectation of the technological and tactical superiority he was about to encounter. The Mustang's coordinated formations, combined with boom and zoom tactics and disciplined fuel management, made traditional Japanese doctrine, turning fights exploiting the Zero's maneuverability, entirely obsolete. Over Tokyo, the two forces collided. The air was filled with tracer fire, smoke, and the roar of engines, as Japanese pilots attacked again and again only to be met with rapid acceleration, superior climb, and devastatingly accurate fire from aircraft they could neither outmaneuver nor outrun. The B-29s pressed on, largely unharmed, their escorts breaking up Japanese formations before they could reach the bombers, leaving the Japanese pilots demoralized and stunned. Reports from returning pilots, including Sakai, noted a new level of American air dominance. Speed, firepower, long-range operational capability, and unmatched tactical discipline, which together rendered Japan's air defense effectively broken. In the days and weeks following, the tempo of operations intensified. The Mustang pilots escorted bombers on repeated raids, conducted independent fighter sweeps, and strafed enemy airfields with devastating effect. Japanese losses mounted steadily, while American pilots learned to manage the physical and mental strain of 8-hour missions, with ground crews maintaining aircraft under harsh volcanic conditions and limited infrastructure, ensuring operational readiness above 80% despite constant combat sorties. Operational hazards extended beyond the enemy. Navigation errors, fuel exhaustion, mechanical failures, and extreme Pacific weather claimed far more aircraft and lives than Japanese fighters, a reality highlighted on June 1, 1945, when Black Friday saw 24 pilots lost to turbulence, collisions, and disorientation over open ocean. Despite these dangers, rescue operations were remarkably effective, with submarines, destroyers, and PBY Catalina aircraft recovering nearly 60% of downed airmen, demonstrating the logistical and operational superiority of the American forces. By mid-1945, the combination of advanced aircraft, superior tactics, rigorous pilot training, and robust logistics had reshaped the air war over Japan, enabling precise, escorted bombing raids that would devastate cities while ensuring American pilot losses remained sustainable. For the Japanese, the encounter with the P-51 Mustang was transformative and devastating. Lieutenant Saburo Sakai, in his diary, would later write that America had created a fighter superior in every measurable aspect, with speed, firepower, maneuverability, range, and reliability unmatched by Japanese designs. The psychological impact was profound. The home islands were no longer safe, training new pilots became almost irrelevant, and Japanese forces faced an inexorable decline in air capability. By the end of May, Japanese pilots faced near-certain death in each sortie, while American pilots, though exhausted and tested to their limits, continued to dominate the skies, proving conclusively that very long-range fighter escort was feasible and that the P-51 Mustang was the aircraft that would ensure Allied air superiority in the final months of the Pacific War, marking April 7, 1945 as not just a day of aerial combat, but the day the strategic balance of the Pacific Air War shifted irreversibly in favor of the United States, with far-reaching consequences for the remainder of the conflict.